Have you ever felt like you've come so far in life only to realize that now, more than ever, people still expect you to carry their weight too? If that hits close to home, then keep watching, because what I'm about to tell you might just set you free. Have you ever felt this strange sense of exhaustion, not from what you've done, but from what people expect you to do next? It's like you've already climbed a mountain, but now others want you to carry them on your back as you continue uphill. Let's imagine this clearly. You've made it through the storms, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the responsibilities. Your life has been full of them. You've been there for others, held them up. And now, after all these years, you should be resting, breathing freely, enjoying your peace. But no, just when you reach the moment you thought would finally be calm, someone shows up, someone close. Maybe it's your brother, maybe a friend, or even your own child. They say they need your help, but what they really mean is they need your time, your energy, your emotional bandwidth. They need you to drop your calm so they can carry on with chaos. That's when the truth hits you like a cold wind. You're not just tired, you're drained from carrying weight that was never yours to begin with. Let's be honest. You're not a lifeguard for people who refuse to learn how to swim. You're not a therapist for people who never ask how you feel. You're not a cash machine for someone who only calls when they're broke. And yet, you've said yes so many times, out of love, out of duty, out of guilt. But the truth is, love should never come with chains. Duty should not destroy peace. And guilt, that was never yours to carry in the first place. You start to realize that what they're asking isn't help, it's surrender. They want you to give up your calm so they don't have to face their own chaos. And when you hesitate, when you finally dare to say no, suddenly you're the problem. You're ungrateful. You're selfish. But no one ever stopped to think about what it cost you every time you said yes. So let's get one thing clear from the start. This part of your life is sacred. It's the reward for everything you've endured. And the last thing you should do now is let someone else's lack of planning, boundaries, or maturity take it away. It usually begins so subtly. A favor, a request. Can you help just this once? You tell yourself it's small, it's temporary, but then the requests keep coming, like waves you never saw coming, until you're already underwater. You look up, and suddenly you're the one responsible for everyone else's emergencies. You became the pillar holding up a structure that's not even yours. And what happens to a rope that's been stretched too far for too long? It snaps. That rope is you. You were pulled into things out of kindness. You wanted to help. But help turned into habit. Habit turned into expectation, and expectation became entitlement. Now, no one even asks. They assume. You're the one they go to for money. You're the one they leave the grandkids with, as if it's your job to raise them again. You're the one expected to fix every conflict, to be the nurse, the therapist, the emotional support line. And if you say you're tired, they call you difficult. If you say no, you're heartless. If you dare to protect your peace, they make you feel like the villain. But no one talks about what it feels like to be forgotten when the favor is over, to be left out in the rain after the storm has passed, soaked in silence while everyone else moves on. You gave out of love, but what they took was your time, your strength, your self-worth. And here's the part no one dares to say. This isn't love, It's emotional abuse. It doesn't matter who it comes from, a child, a partner, a lifelong friend. If someone continuously demands what they should be handling themselves and leaves you feeling depleted in return, then something is deeply wrong. You don't owe anyone your sanity. You don't owe anyone your peace, especially not those who treat your generosity like an endless resource. There's a name for that, being used, and it leaves behind invisible wounds. You're not selfish for wanting space. You're not cruel for needing distance. You're human. There's a big difference between supporting someone and carrying them so much that your back breaks. Let's talk about one of the most common yet most destructive ways people steal your peace: money. Imagine this. It's a quiet morning. You're sipping coffee, maybe watching the sun filter through your window. For a moment, everything feels calm. And then your phone rings. It's someone close, your child, a sibling, maybe even a friend you haven't heard from in ages. At first, you think they're calling to check on you. Maybe say hello. But deep down, you already know. They didn't call to ask how you're doing. They called to ask for money. And so it begins. It starts small. Just a quick loan, they say. I'll pay you back next month. But next month turns into the next excuse. And before you realize it, you're stuck in a cycle of giving. And they're stuck in a cycle of taking. Let me ask you something real. How many of those loans ever came back? And more importantly, how many nights of peace did you lose over them? Because the truth is, when you lend money at this stage of life, it's not just the money you risk. You're handing over your stability, your calm, your trust. And when things go wrong, when they don't pay you back, when they ghost you, when the relationship breaks, you're left not only with an empty wallet, but a broken heart. People say, but if you're my father, my friend, my family, you have to help me. That's not love. That's manipulation. You've already paid the price in full, through decades of sacrifice, through your own struggles. Now, someone wants you to give up the comfort you finally earned so they can feel better for a moment. That's not fair. That's not your responsibility. And no, you are not being cold. You are being wise. Think about this. What if you had an emergency tomorrow, a health crisis? Would that money you gave away magically return to help you? Would they be there? Chances are they wouldn't. And that's the harsh truth. Because people who demand from you rarely prepare to give back. And when you finally say no, that's when the guilt begins. They'll say you don't care, that you've changed, that you're letting them down. But let me ask you, where were they when you needed support? Where are they when you just want peace? This isn't about being stingy. It's about protecting the foundation of your life. You are not a rescue boat, and you are certainly not a bank. You spent a lifetime building what you have. Don't let guilt tear it down in a single decision. Now, let's dive even deeper. Another way your peace is stolen? When you're dragged into family conflicts you never started and cannot fix. It often begins with a small request. Mom, Dad, can you talk to your brother? Can you help fix this situation? They'll listen to you. And just like that, without even realizing it, you're thrown into the middle of a battlefield. A battlefield where old wounds bleed and no one wants to heal, only to win. You stand there, hoping to bring peace, to bridge gaps, to be the voice of reason. But in trying to fix what's already broken, you only end up breaking yourself. And the worst part? The ones who asked you to step in are often the same ones who will blame you when things get worse. Imagine something even more painful. You watch your children, your own blood, arguing over things like your house, your possessions, your memories. What once was a safe haven filled with love becomes a prize they fight for. And you sit there helpless, realizing that what you built with so much sacrifice has become a battleground. You try to mediate, to heal, to make them see reason. But instead, you fuel the fire. You realize too late you can't fix what people refuse to fix within themselves. And while you're busy trying to hold the family together, your health frays, your spirit dims, your peace, the one thing you earned through a lifetime of hardship, crumbles quietly inside you. And for what? You have to ask yourself, is it really worth losing your peace for a war that was never yours to fight? The answer, deep down, is simple. No, it isn't. Life is too short to waste it trying to solve battles that others started and that only they can finish. You deserve a different kind of life now. A life where you put yourself first, where your mornings are filled with peace, not anxiety, where your afternoons are spent in joy, not in exhaustion from being the family's emotional firefighter. You are not obligated to set yourself on fire just to keep others warm. If someone asks you to fix their conflict, to carry the burden of their mistakes, to sacrifice your hard-won peace, it's okay to say no. It's more than okay, it's necessary. Because the battles they fight are theirs, not yours. And if choosing yourself makes you the bad guy in their story, so be it. At least you're the hero in your own. Now let's face something even more personal. There comes a point when the people closest to you, those you love, begin to hint or even openly say that you should change. Change your clothes, change your words, change your habits, change your very essence. They say things like, "Don't dress like that. It's not appropriate anymore. Stop listening to that old music. It's embarrassing. Don't talk like that. It makes you sound out of touch." They aren't just asking for small adjustments. They're asking you to erase yourself. They act as if the life you've lived, the memories you've made, the habits you cherish, are now outdated, irrelevant, disposable. But here's the truth. Everything that makes you who you are today is valuable, more valuable than they could ever understand. Your traditions, your preferences, your stories, they are not signs of being stuck. They are proof of a life lived with meaning. When they ask you to change, they are, without realizing it, asking you to betray yourself, to deny the parts of you that survived, that fought, that learned and endured. And for what? So they can feel more comfortable? So you fit neatly into a mold they created based on their own fears? Your authenticity is not a costume you wear for approval. It's the armor that carried you through storms they could never survive. They didn't walk your path. They didn't pay the price for your wisdom. They didn't cry your tears or celebrate your victories. You did, and no one has the right to ask you to rewrite your story just because they are uncomfortable with its beauty. If you allow others to dictate who you must be, you lose something far more precious than their approval. You lose yourself. Imagine one day looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person staring back. Imagine silencing your laughter, hiding your passions, erasing your history just to fit in. It would be the ultimate betrayal, not of them, of yourself, your habits, your music, your way of speaking, these are sacred. They are your legacy, and you don't have to apologize for a single part of it. If someone truly loves you, they love all of you, not just the parts that fit conveniently into their version of how you should be. So remember this: you were not made to fit someone else's comfort zone. You were made to live authentically, unapologetically, and proudly. Protect that. Protect yourself. There's another trap they don't talk about enough: the silent expectation that you should always put their emotions before your own. It doesn't come wrapped in loud demands. It sneaks in through quiet guilt, disguised as love. They say, if you really cared about me, you'd do this. Why can't you just make me happy? Don't you see you're hurting me by choosing yourself? And before you even realize it, you start shrinking. You set aside your dreams, your boundaries, your peace, just to avoid making them uncomfortable. But here's the hard truth. When you constantly sacrifice your own feelings for others, you don't create harmony, you create resentment. You end up living someone else's script with someone else's priorities, while your own happiness withers away quietly inside. And the ones who demand this sacrifice rarely notice the pieces of you that fall apart in the process. Every time you say yes to keep them happy at the cost of your own well-being, a small part of you fades, until one day you wake up feeling like a ghost in your own life, present but invisible, alive but disconnected. It's a quiet death, the death of self-respect, the death of authenticity. And let's be clear, this isn't love, this isn't respect, this is control masked as care. No one who truly values you would ever ask you to abandon yourself just to make them feel more secure. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are not obligated to make yourself smaller so someone else can feel bigger. Imagine someone put their hands around your light, trying to dim it, just so they don't have to squint. That's what happens when you sacrifice your needs for the comfort of others. And you deserve better. You deserve a life where you don't have to apologize for your happiness, where you don't have to hide your true feelings to be accepted, where you don't have to carry the emotional weight of grown adults who refuse to carry their own. Saying no to that pressure isn't cruel, it's courageous. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you finally love yourself enough not to abandon who you are, because your happiness matters, your peace matters, and your life matters. And if someone can't understand that, if they make you feel guilty for choosing your own well-being over their demands, then they were never truly loving you. They were using you. The life you've fought so hard to build deserves better than that. You deserve better than that. Now, take a moment. Breathe deeply and really think about everything we've uncovered together. How many times have you sacrificed your own joy so others could feel comfortable? How many battles did you fight that were never yours to begin with? How many pieces of yourself did you hand out in the name of love, loyalty, or duty, only to be left empty when you needed someone in return? It's time to face the truth. The only person who can protect your peace is you. The only person responsible for your happiness is you. No one else is coming to save you. And the more you wait for permission to prioritize yourself, the longer you delay the life you deserve to live. It's not selfish to say no. It's not cruel to walk away from situations that steal your calm. It's not wrong to demand respect for your time, your energy, and your heart. You owe no explanations for choosing yourself. You owe no apologies for protecting your light. At this point in your life, you have nothing to prove to anyone. You've already fought your battles. You've already paid your dues. Now, it's time to harvest the peace you've earned. Because the truth is, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your effort, your wisdom, or your loyalty. Those gifts are precious, and they must be reserved for those who treat them with the reverence they deserve. From this moment forward, promise yourself this: you will no longer beg for affection, attention, or respect. You will no longer carry guilt that was never yours. You will no longer dim your light so others can feel brighter. You will live fully and fiercely on your own terms. Because your peace, it's priceless, and it should never be traded for temporary approval or shallow gratitude. So next time someone tries to pull you back into their chaos, next time someone asks you to carry what isn't yours, next time someone demands you change who you are just to fit their world, stand firm, smile if you must, but say no and mean it. Your life is a treasure. Guard it with everything you have, because no one else can live it for you, and no one else will protect it if you don't. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these points resonated the most with your heart today? Which moment made you think about your own life differently? Leave a comment below with the word intact, so I know you stayed with me until the end. And if this message lit even the smallest fire inside you, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell icon, and join a community that believes in living boldly, bravely, and peacefully. Because your story isn't over. It's just beginning. On your terms. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. See you in the next video.